Good Vibes Only is here to take you on a journey to discover the weird and wacky world of wellness. It's brought to you by the globally renowned skin and wellness expert Marie Reynolds, who holds over 36 years of experience within the skin and well-being industry. Each week, Marie shares her own holistic lifestyle hacks and chats to other leading wellness experts to find out their good vibe story, discussing how they deal with day-to-day stress, anxiety, sleep, and skin issues. Listen in as Marie explores why, when it comes to our health and wellness, we need to look beyond the linear, question the norm, and think outside the box.
Dr. Yi has a PhD and Masters of TCM from Gwangju University. He started his senior career as a lecturer and module leader of several TCM colleges across Europe, including LACA, London, Wrocław Academy of Acupuncture, Poland, and Swiss TCM University. He serves as the director of CAMA, which is the Chinese Acupuncture and Herbal Medicine Alliance, and is the General Secretary of the British Institute of Scalp Acupuncture. I'm here with the amazing Dr. Ye, who is an expert in his field in meridian palpation and all sorts of wonderful things, herbs. So what I'm going to do, actually, I'm going to allow you to introduce yourself.
It's my pleasure to be invited by Maria to join this program. I grew up and I was born in China, and I went to the University of Chinese Medicine in Beijing. And then after 5 years, I completed master degree in digestion and another 3 more years on these rheumatology issues, disease in the PhD. And after that, I straight away jumped into the UK.
That's fantastic. And you have an amazing practice, which I also go to in Norwich. And you also teach and lecture worldwide, don't you?
Yeah, I am one of the creator, or you could say the London Academy of Chinese Medicine. It's a college that teaching and specializing in training students on Chinese style acupuncture, as well as Chinese herbal medicine.
Yeah, because there is a real difference between the Chinese style acupuncture. It's real authentic style acupuncture, isn't it?
That's right. Yes, that's a lot of traditional side of the acupuncture, different style from the Western, or even from the other you could call like variant of Chinese medicine or acupuncture style in the neighbor countries like Vietnam or Korea or Japan. You over the years, the history, and you will have different variations in development. They all have a good, so it shows the shining bit of every part, but then every schools have their different focus on.
And so I wanted to have a chat with you. I wanted to bring you on because obviously with my listeners, they're all interested in all of the theories and modalities that I do in my clinic, energy medicine, which I've brought in my little oscillating rod for you to do. Because you have a very unique approach to your acupuncture. You do, which you've honed yourself, your meridian palpation. So do you want to just explain what that is?
So obviously in Chinese medicine, you have different schools of diagnosis. Obviously, based on the different diagnostic differentiation, you will have different approach to treat disease. And my approach is based on the reading of meridians. And the basic idea behind that is because the meridian is the one that links all organs and or even your spiritual part, your mental being, and your physical body. So the meridians are those energy pathways. It's like the electric cables connecting different power stations and every part of the bodies. You can imagine if your body is a city and all the internal organs are the power stations, and each part has small organs like eyes and nose and everything. They all connected to a certain part of the power because you have different stations to supply different part of the city. So therefore, there are about 5 systems or 6 systems, that are linking by the meridian system. So therefore, when there's a problem wrong with a specific organs, that can be always an indicator of a specific connections, something wrong with that connection. So we have the way to check all the points. If imagine all those meridian points are like a switchboard on each of those big supply stations. And so if there's something wrong, the switch shows some abnormal signals. And
it's almost like a fuse that has gone in the switchboard.
Yeah. So therefore, then to me, the method is just to check the different feelings on the point. Some points feel very painful, the sensitivity increased drastically, and some of them reduced drastically, or some of them feels very tight and hard and solid, and some of them feel very hollow. These are the signs of abnormal conditions. Therefore, once we read, we should be able to get a big picture of what's going on with the system.
Yeah,
then we can treat accordingly.
So you look at different colours, you look at different textures, and you look at hollowness, or if it's a little tense, that links to deficiency or excess, and then you treat accordingly. But with your palpation, with your meridian palpation, you also do this sort of like movement clockwise and anti-clockwise, and it actually has such a powerful effect where you don't even need to use your needles. It's a very, very gentle, superficial movement, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we use like electricity, like the flow of the energy we call qi, is very sensitive and a very responsive material, like substance running through your body. It has its nature. It's like if you're thinking the energy is a vibration of a certain thing, a substance, and they have their different frequencies. And it's the same thing with us understanding about the qi. So each meridian system, they have their own character and features. And obviously, if you know what is supposed to be normal, what is supposed not to be normal, by reading the signs, whether that increase the sensitivity indicating excess or hollowness indicating deficiency, then you use a different style or different way of stimulating it. For example, we take this as a tonifying and strengthening method. Usually that will encourage a good, flow of the qi. Then if you want to give negative ones, that means we stop it going or reverse its movement, then you have a different reaction.
A calming reaction, yeah. So I'm glad you brought up qi, because this is one of the things that I wanted to talk to you about, because when we talk about qi in the general terms, a lot of people just think qi is one thing. It's like energy, life force, it's known as prana, all of these different things, which is correct. But qi has different levels and different characters and different movements and different directions and different relationships. So, for instance, I had a client in yesterday who'd just gone through a kidney transplant. She'd had an additional kidney put in, and she was saying that her lungs were really being affected, and her doctors couldn't work out what it is. All the bloods were as they should be. And I was telling her about the kidneys are the bottom source of water, and the lungs are the top source of water, of fluids in the body, and they have a direct relationship from the qi. So if you can just explain to us about the different directions and the different levels of qi, and also, wei qi and huan qi, what they are.
Okay, right. You mentioned about this kidney implant, a transplant case. It reminds me of another case I treated in the past. This gentleman had a very difficult breathing issues. And when he came to see me, he was just carrying an oxygen bag. He cannot walk more than like 4-5 meters to be not to stopping, gasping, and breathing in the oxygen to be able to move on further. And that every symptom started actually from the prostate removal operation. After the removal of the prostate, he had quite severe cystitis.
Wow.
And ever since, he started to gradually developing further and further this shortness of breath issue, exactly the kidneys. And what actually proven the Chinese medicine theory about this connection between the lung and kidney is I actually figure out these symptoms. Also, he told me the one that reminded me of, that's definitely to do with the kidney is he said about his night sweat. He had a quite bad night sweat ever since.
Yeah.
So I gave him just a kidney tonic. He's been seeing a Western herbalist, herbal treatment. And they give a lot of they believe, to sort out the lung fibrosis issues. The herbs didn't work on him. Only until I gave him the kidney tonic herbs. It worked.
Yeah, because again, like I was talking the other day to Alessandra Steinher, and we were talking about periods and, and I was telling her about kidneys is the source of menstrual blood, and the spleen and the heart that move the blood, and the liver. And a lot of people need to stop thinking on a linear process, because Western medicine thinks on that just very one-stop shop process, but it's so much more deeper and wider than that. But we digress. I want you to talk about qi.
Right, yes. So now the first thing is the qi. We have a different level of qi. So if you imagine your body is a fully functioning city, and the city is protected by those defense force, then it's run by those central government or their councils. And then in between them, there will be signal system to connect those people working outside and people sitting in the office. So they well efficient admin work being done and good communications done. And what's going on in this kind of a system is you rely on different chi to support the whole running of the city. You have the chi that protect the body from invasion. This is what we call defensive chi. The other one working mainly as a good defending, protecting your body from damages from the external invaders.
And this is what we're talking about as well with this defensive chi. In Chinese medicine, there are different invaders of what Western thinks. So Western have the pathogens, the viruses, molds and bacteria, which is part of Chinese medicine, but we also have the six evils, which is your wind and your cold and your damp, etc.
So that's also very interesting. Is obviously that's to do with the chi, not just to do with those microbiotics. Just because, although in Western understanding, when you understand COVID, they have a variant. That means their linings or whatever protein, like spike proteins or whatever, on the surface of them, they not only just a kind of feature changing in the body, but also it affects their vibration, affect their energy, markings. Therefore, the chi could be different.
Yeah.
So when it first started in 2019 or 2020, early springtime, that was a very wind, cold, and damp. But when it comes into the 2022 now, we have a lot of people having really high fever, sore throat. That's a lot to turn into the heat side. Yeah. So you can see even the virus itself have different characters.
Yeah.
The same variant, the same virus with a different strand of variant, they have different chi.
But does that not depend on the individual as well?
So that's complication of the human body is because as I say, every system they're running on different frequencies of energy. Right? Therefore, imagine such a big part of body, they have different parts of the city being protected by different troops or different teams. So that may be in different colors or different markings. Therefore, they have different roles to to be able to identify different natures or different features of those invaders.
Yeah.
So therefore, sometimes one of the, team of large intestine meridian, which is serving as part of the defense system, they are in red. So this is red team. And then another one's a green team. Yeah. And so they are supposed to watch out for different colors of invaders.
Yeah.
That start to cause troubles with large intestine symptoms. But
then that can link in with the lungs as well.
Yes. Yeah. And what's happening is because everybody is born in different features. So some of the part of the body is built stronger, some of the part of the body is weaker. So how your body start to present symptoms in Chinese medicine, we believe, so the weakest link of your system. Therefore, if your large intestine is the weakest link, you'll get those red invaders much badly hit.
Yeah.
And then therefore you got the symptom.
Yeah. Yeah. And the thing is as well, so we've got the defensive chi. Now, the things that are involved in the defensive chi are the pathways of chi.
So defensive chi is related to do with yang meridian. If you imagine there are like stripes of sections of those on the skin surface, we have that's like large intestine of this stripe. Then you have Sanjiao Triple, then you have small intestine. They're all staying on the lateral side of your body, or side of your trunk, or side or back of your leg. So therefore, these are the one that in the ancient time when humans still on four legs, these are the one that exposed to the outside most. So therefore, they are the one that protect your body.
And then we have original chi.
Chi is stored in the kidney. Basically, we believe the kidney is the root of life. So, and also in Chinese medicine, say in between the two kidneys, that is a location, that is a center we normally call the Mingmen, so the gate of life, so vitality. This is actually, it's this starting fire, sparks for the house, like heating system. You need the initial
igniter. Yeah, igniter. So interesting because, we could talk about chi forever. It's just, it really blows my mind and I absolutely love it. But I think when people talk about chi, they initially think of calmness. They initially think of bringing everything down, grounding, and we talk about Qigong.
Mhm.
But, the chi of the mind actually is linked in with the heart, isn't it?
Yeah, right. So qi has a good effect, as I mentioned earlier. We say qi is the one that linking your mind, your mental being, and your body physique. So the link is by the pathways of meridian. So qi is traveling along the meridians. Obviously, then to talk about those mental illnesses, the heart is the leader, is the dictator. So also we normally use the word emperor. So
Yeah.
heart is the one, particularly the mind itself relies on the good chi function from the heart.
Yeah. So
And
when
and
people suffer from sort of like anxiety or depression or any fears, I mean they all link in with different things, but anxiety and depression, depending on other factors, it can link in with the pericardium and the heart meridian, can't it?
yeah, especially when we talk about anxiety and this type of mental imbalance, usually yes, it is to do with the disturbance of mind. Right. So mind mainly is related to mainly those daytime mental activities when you are awake. So the rationings and proper thinking, proper activities of what your brain is supposed to do. That's to do with the mind. Then if the mind is disturbed and all these negative emotions can come in, because the mind is not taking control and authority of the whole body. Therefore, all the other emotions come in. So therefore, panic attack, anxieties can happen in that way. Or like rages and everything. That's all to do with the other organs, but they can still coming in, disturbing the mind. So the mind is the first one we really wanted to try to work on and control.
So I always ask my guests, what are the things that you do to relax and calm down? Because I've been in your clinic and it's madness. You see so many people in a small amount of time, and it's amazing to watch you. It really is amazing to watch you. So what does Dr. Yi do to relax and calm down?
Well, I think in the modern time, you can't avoid, having stresses and, get yourself up and go all the time. So, but my philosophy is enjoy and also live for the present. If you're supposed to be busy and quite stressed out for that situation, you do your best, but then don't get overwhelmed by it and just focus on what you want to do and what you do enjoy, and then take it easy. And then
Yeah.
once you're finished, that's finished. I don't think about it.
That's it. Let it go. And let me ask you, have you been using that pendulum I gave you?
Oh, yes, yesterday we did.
And also with the distance therapy, you've been doing distance therapy with
Oh, yes.
acupuncture.
Yes, thanks for your advice. Yeah, that's a very interesting. And I wasn't a believer of a distal healing, because how can I put that way?
Woo woo.
Yeah. Well, I didn't really have a very negative thought about it or idea about it, but I didn't believe the intention, the power of intention can be that strong, and the energy can trigger that quickly and distantly.
Yeah.
So
you had a client's dog that you thought that you would try it out on, didn't you? And
yeah.
and a dog has no opinion, does it? It doesn't know whether
Honestly,
it's
yes, because people were if you do it on humans, then the people always argue there could be a placebo effect, right? So that's why I'm thinking, what? We'll try it on the dog. We'll see what's going on. And then so amazing. I think I've done like 6 to 8 sessions of dog, and every time I do the treatment, I will have the report back from the owner saying that the dogs lying in bed the half of the day feel exhausted. She's very ill. And then in the afternoon on, she's bouncing about and she's, like nothing happened.
Yeah.
And this dog, the doctors already said the dog had liver function issues and bleeding in stools and all that. They're not expecting the dog to survive.
There you go. There's exactly the same happened to my dog. They told us that the dog wouldn't last past 8 months, and she's now 4 years old. And I took her back to the vet, and she had meningitis, liver failure. And the vet said, I just have no words. I just don't understand. It's a freak of nature. And I said, it isn't. It's energy.
Yeah, believe now. I do believe the energy definitely you can actually work on. And I think the animals and little kids are much more sensitive. They can receive that easily.
Yeah,
and I was trying to, obviously, it relies on people's energy state. However, I strongly believe your chi and energy healing.
Thank you. Well, Dr. Yi, thank you so much. I'm really blessed to have you in my life. And I've got lots of people that I deem friends and experts that I draw upon, and we share each other's knowledge. And I'm just really grateful. So thank you for your time. I shall see you soon, very soon.
Right, yeah. Thank you for inviting me on here.
Oh, it's a pleasure.
That's it for this week's Good Vibes Only episode. But there's plenty more wholesome, holistic information where that came from. Check out Marie's website, www.mariereynolds.london.com, or follow Marie on socials. For Marie's products, follow at Marie Reynolds London on Instagram and Facebook, and at Marie Reynolds_London on TikTok. You can also follow Marie's day-to-day content on Instagram. Follow at Marie Reynolds_MRL. Thank you so much for listening to Good Vibes Only. If you've enjoyed this episode, we'd love for you to subscribe to and review the podcast wherever you listen to them. And remember to share the episode too. See you next time.